welcome. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. My name is Rob. Thanks for stopping by. Same old test. Can you hear me? Thumbs up. Let me know if you can hear me. Looks like it's working, but I need that thumbs up or yes from you guys just to make sure. And then we'll get here. Why don't you move over there? All right. Let's see. Hi from Connecticut. Thumbs up. So I'm assuming that means you can hear me. Anaholics, thank you. How's everybody doing today? Sounds good. Here come the yeses. It's always a little bit delayed. I think there's about a 30-second delay or something from the time I say something to the time you actually hear it. Yeah, there we go. So welcome to my live stream. This is, last week's live stream, if you were here, wasn't here. I went outside and a couple kilometers down, she's going to spill my drink. I went a couple kilometers away to a beach and I live streamed from outside, and I just noticed somebody mentioned that they had trouble getting into the live stream. I actually had trouble getting it going. It took me a little bit of time. Actually, is the volume okay here? I'm going to turn this up a little bit. Is that better? Let me know if that's better, because I remember I turned it down. I was doing some voiceover work, and when I do that, I have to bring the mic closer and then turn the gain down. Stephanie Nelson says yes. Awesome. Okay, good. Yeah, so last week I did a live stream. First time I've ever done that from outside. Now, I did a test outside the night before, but I thought everything went relatively okay once I got going. It took me a while before I was able to actually connect to the live stream I had previously set up. Like I set it up, I scheduled it, right? And then the Prism Live software that I used to connect to it, it took me a little bit of time before that I was able to do it, and then it didn't work, and then anyways, long story short, it finally got going, but it sounds like maybe not everybody who wanted to was able to find it, so I apologize for that. I will do it outside again in the future, but most of the time I'll be doing them from here. Obviously I can't share my screen when I'm out in the field like that, and I suppose I could bring my laptop with me too, but I'd need a way to make sure the battery doesn't die. Yeah, so anyways, now we're back in the office for today's live stream, and once I go through some questions and the chat, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask it in the chat, but eventually we'll get to me showing you how to edit a video. So for those of you who may have seen the trailer to this live stream earlier today or right before you joined here, like if you tried to join this live stream before I actually started it, you would have seen a trailer, a little, I think it's 48-second video that I made this morning. And then what I explained in that is that I was going to go outside to film a video on my phone and then come back and then edit it while you watch me and ask questions, and you can see how I edit that video. I did that. I went outside, made the video. I think everything went fine. Actually, it took me 2 takes, but I think I got it done. Trouble is, it was raining, and what else? There was wind. So it wasn't raining that hard, but there was some rain, and there was some wind. So hopefully the sound is okay, but we'll go through that. And you can see what I do there. So the editing software I will use is Camtasia to edit that, but there's nothing I'm going to do in that software that you can't do in any other software. And actually, that brings up a good point. If there's any other software you'd like to see me edit in, let me know, and I can do that. I can perhaps schedule a future session where I use other software. Okay, the 3 that I have on my computer now that I have readily available are Camtasia, which I use all the time, DaVinci Resolve, which I have used a lot, but typically I don't use that right now. I'm just so much more used to Camtasia. You personally use DaVinci. Very good. I like it. It's just when you try to get into more complicated things, I find it a little more difficult. And then CapCut as well. I have the paid version of that I could also show you. So if anybody wants to know about those, let me know, or anything else. I see Bridget mentioned Filmora. I have not ever tried Filmora, but how different can it be? I think pretty much all of them are very similar, and it's just a matter of personal preference as to which one you use. And actually, it becomes which one can you use the fastest, really. I mean, once you get going with your YouTube channel and making videos, the bottleneck for a lot of people is actually editing videos, and they find it very difficult. And there's some tips that I can give you that would make that go smoother. But the number one thing is to get very used to whichever software you end up going with, because then you get used to the keyboard shortcuts and just, the little things about whatever software you're using. Dan Sand says and I'm going to go through all of the comments, but I'm just every once in a while I'm picking up a question here and there. But Dan says, any free video editing software? For free, I would suggest CapCut. Now, I have the paid version, and I forget why I upgraded to the paid version, but there's some more things you can do with that. But the free version of CapCut is totally fine. You can start with that. And in fact, DaVinci Resolve has a free version as well. I also have the paid version of that, and I remember why I upgraded that one, and that's when I was doing a lot more subtitling. The paid version has an auto transcribing feature that made subtitling videos a whole lot easier, a big time saver. So I paid the whatever it was, $300 or $250 or whatever it is to get the paid version of DaVinci Resolve, and that's a one-time fee. Like, you'd only ever have to pay that once forever. But if you don't need that, the free version is probably all you need as well. So there you go. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't have headphones in, but that's okay because I've got my speakers up a little bit. They're set on low so that this microphone won't pick them up, so that should be fine. Let me back up here and go through the chat before we get into the video editing. I went outside and filmed outside. And I think the video ended up being 20 minutes, but again, a lot of the beginning, I messed up. It took me 2 or 3 times to really get going. So it might end up being around a 15-minute video. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd always love to hear that. I am in Halifax, Nova Scotia. If you're new here, welcome. And my name is Rob. Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, on the East Coast. And it's kind of rainy outside right now, and only about 14 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. 60s, probably. Not very hot. But we have Bridget Elizabeth. Hello, Bridget. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in. What are the requirements of a good computer for editing videos for YouTube? See, it's been 2 weeks since I've done this because the last one I did outside. I forgot to click here, and I can put the questions on the screen like that. What are the requirements of a good computer for editing videos for YouTube that's not a Mac? Okay, very good. So, I use a Mac now, but it's only been about a year. Before that, I used a PC. It's hard to say. I would recommend, so it depends on what you do. The more heavy editing that you do, and the faster you want your computer to render your videos, that's basically outputting the video once you've made your edits. Those things require more RAM and more a faster processor and things like that. With a faster processor and a good graphics card, you can render videos faster. So that's usually something to think about. And also RAM, if you have enough RAM. So I think 32 gigabytes of RAM is plenty. 16 is on the low side, but you could probably get by with that. Again, it depends on how long the videos are that you're making and whether or not you're making 4K videos. So bottom line rule of thumb is a good gaming computer is also a good video editing computer. for gaming and video editing, you basically need the same kinds of things. Okay, so good graphics card that perhaps could handle some of the whenever you're moving your playhead around in the video editing process and the timeline, making cuts and stitching parts together, things like that. A good graphics card will help with things like that. At least 32 gigabytes of RAM helps with that as well. That also helps if you have a whole bunch of other programs open, like I usually do. Decent processor. So the computer I used before this one was a PC from 2020, so 5 years old, and it had 32 gigs of RAM. The hard drive, I would highly recommend an SSD drive internally, not an HDD drive. So HDD is hard disk drive, SSD is solid state drive. If you have an SSD drive, then your video editing software can read and write, like get the video files to and from your drive faster into the computer, into the editing software. Okay, so, but yeah, what I had, I think I had 2 terabytes of SSD, the SSD drive, and I had a second drive in that computer that was 1 terabyte that I kind of used for backups. I had 32 gigs of RAM. And then the processor was an i5, Intel i5 processor from 5 years ago. Okay, so that's fine, i5. I'm sorry. No, that was not an Intel. That's the one I had before. That's what my laptop is, the HP. That one, that desktop from 2020 had a Ryzen 9 processor, and that was faster than the i5. Intel i5. The Intel i5 was also in a laptop that did not have a terrific graphics card. So yeah, that's what I had, and that worked just fine. I know you mentioned not a Mac, but I will tell you that my MacBook from 2021 is even faster than that Ryzen 9 was. So there you go. Those are the things to look for. And I hope that helps. Anaholic says, let's see some fantastic editing skills. I'm totally ready for it. Let's have some fun. Awesome. Let's have some fun. Absolutely. Now, most of the editing I'm going to show you is pretty basic. I'm not going to do anything crazy today. It's more designed for beginners to get going and what you have to do, but I can show you some things, absolutely. And feel free to ask questions as I'm going through it as well. See, we have Jose from Puerto Rico. Hello, Jose. How you doing? Good morning from Arizona, the Rio Pel Room. How you doing? Hello, Arizona. Syncred AI. Hi, everyone. Hello. How you doing? What am I doing here? And then Dan. Oh, this is the message I saw last week. So hello, Dan. How you doing? Last week I was not able to reach your live stream. It stayed as a static still image. 14 people were also waiting with me. I tried several times leaving the site, but could never connect. Okay, so I will say that. I created an intro video that launched when I went live. So that played first, and it was 2 minutes. Usually the one I do here is 5 minutes. Maybe I should cut that down to 2 minutes as well. But my thinking is that 5 minutes gives people a chance to get in here and, get settled and know that I'm about to start and that I haven't started yet. But anyways, I had an intro video last week that I made earlier that day of me just kind of walking out to where I was going to do the live stream. And when that was over, when that video ended, I couldn't figure out how to get that off the screen and have the live stream show my face and show me, and it was stuck on that still image. After around 10 seconds, I think people could start to hear me because I said, "Can you hear me?" And people said yes. And then it took me another minute or two before I got that off of the screen. So finally figured it out. It was the first time I had ever used Prism Live, so I did not know where to go to actually delete that off of the screen. So sorry about that. Working out the bugs. That's going to happen from time to time. I'm not perfect. Yeah, so there you go. And the video is there. It's still on my channel if you ever wanted to go back and watch it live. And I think it was just over 2 minutes. And just so you know also, so I live streamed from my phone And this is one of the tripods I had out there. But because I had my microphone plugged into this, I could not also plug in a charger or a battery pack to my phone. So I just made sure it was a full charge in my phone when I went out and started. And the live stream, I did it for just over 2 hours. I think it was 2 hours and 7 minutes. And when I was finished, I think there was 9% battery left. So it would not do 3 hours, but it just got through 2 hours. And if I do one when it's cold outside, like in the winter, I plan on doing that as well. Yeah, the battery may run down even faster. So we'll have to see. But it was good to know that it was able to do 2 hours. And that's the iPhone 14 Pro Max is what I used. And I used actually the selfie camera so I could see myself. And so I could see your comments, right? So I saw the comments on the screen when I did that. So there we go. Let me just double check to make sure. I think I'm going to try to change camera angles here to see if the phone is working. Yes, it is. There you go. And say hi to Peanut. There's Peanut right there. Right there. She finally settled down. She might stay with me throughout the whole live stream today. Since she seems to be settled in already. That's good. All right, so where are we? Hello from Denmark, Grethless Bauman. How you doing? Welcome back. Thumbs up from Anaholics. Welcome back. Fraz from Connecticut. Hello, Fraz. How you doing? Sound is good. Yes, can hear. Yay, TJ Jackson. How you doing, TJ? Good to see you. Syncred, excellent. Bridget, I can hear you. Good, yes, I can hear you. Jose, how you doing? Stephanie, good afternoon. How you doing, Stephanie? Hi from North Africa. Welcome from North Africa. How you doing? Let's go through here. Volume is okay. Volume still good, everybody? That's good. It's just, it's blinking green as I talk, so that looks like it's okay. And just so you know what I'm looking at, I'll go back to my phone for a second here. That is what I'm looking at. See, you see this right here? That is my, well, that's a snack for later, but that is my audio interface, and this is my microphone plugged into it. So anytime I talk, it goes green like that. Green is okay. If it were to go yellow or red, that's not okay. That means it'd be too loud. And if I go really close to the, sorry, I don't even know if I kept the camera on that. If it goes red or yellow, then that means I'm getting into the clipping. Red would be clipping and distorted sound. We don't want that. Okay, so where are we now? So, okay, Peg's Irish Wilk said better. So I believe that's when I increased my volume or the gain. So awesome. Michael Zaz from Costa Rica. Hello. Saying Pura Vida from Costa Rica. I don't speak Spanish, but I believe that means the good life. Is that right? If so, Pura Vida right back to you. And welcome to the live stream. Fireside Dividends, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Howdy. Howdy, Fireside. How you doing? TJ can hear me. That's great. ABC, hi Rob and everyone. Hello, ABC, how you doing? Love to hear you say outside. Outside, is that a Canadian? Am I sounding Canadian? Is that a Canadian word, outside? Out. Outside is how I'm supposed to say it. I've been teased about that, but hey, I'm Canadian. I can't help it. I say things the way I say things. Glad you like it though. Which editing software? Okay, I already saw this question. Yeah, so Camtasia is what I'm going to use today, but I can use anything. Actually, that brings up a good point. Maybe next week I'll do the same thing in. Well, yeah. So there's a couple things that it couldn't hurt to also use DaVinci Resolve to show you that in DaVinci as well. Pete Van Outshorn. Hi, Rob. Good evening from coldish South Africa. How you doing? Welcome. Coldish. So yeah, I guess you're. I wonder what's cold-ish. It's about 14 degrees Celsius here, so it's not hot. Although when I went for my walk, I did have shorts and a t-shirt on and a rain jacket. Anaholics uses DaVinci. Very good. I just signed up with Filmora, another popular video editing software. I use Shotcut for editing on a PC. It's very robust. I have not heard of Shotcut. Shotcut. I'll write that down. I'll have a look at that. Is InShot a good software? I'm not familiar with that one either. InShot. Good. I don't know. If anybody else has used InShot, let us know. And same with Shotcut. I'd be interested to know if anybody else uses either of those. Hi from Northern Cali, California. The view from my table. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for stopping in. The free video software from Dan. So DaVinci Resolve has a free version. CapCut has a free version. And that's all I know. I'm not sure about InShot or what was the other one? Shotcut or Filmora. I don't know if they have free versions or maybe free trials. Camtasia has a free trial. It doesn't have a free version. I think it's 7 days. And then you would have to revert to the paid version. Tech Topics. Hello, Tech Topics. How you doing? I'm your great fan. Awesome. I love Camtasia. Can you tell me how to create auto caption in Hindi language from India? I don't think I'm the right person to tell you that because I don't know Hindi at all, unfortunately. But what I do know with Camtasia and the dynamic captions is that if you so whatever voice you speak in, whatever language you speak in your video, when you go to edit that video in Camtasia, it should know that it's Hindi, or at least you could tell it this is Hindi, and then it would perhaps do it for you. I'm not 100% sure if that's a language that's supported yet, but I think it is. I'll look that up and I'll get back to you. Hindi. But yeah, you'd have to make sure that your video is first in Hindi, and then perhaps it can do the captions in that language. I believe that's the way that works. So hopefully that helps. Anaholic says DaVinci is slower to learn, but once you know it can be a lot faster with all the templates and AI stuff. I agree. It is definitely more robust. You can do a lot more with DaVinci Resolve than you can with Camtasia. DaVinci Resolve, you can really get into the weeds with color correction and color grading and things like that. It's got a really high end. I mean, some people make like full-on movies with DaVinci Resolve. It's been used in Hollywood for years for its color correction, and color grading. But I found that quite complicated. So for me, I find for those types of things, I find Camtasia just a little easier to handle. But in terms of like just doing cuts and like editing out bad parts of a video, DaVinci Resolve, very easy to use, and I find the timeline very responsive, very easy to move things around in the timeline. But I also found it a little harder to make simple animations, which I find a lot easier to do in Camtasia. Like if I want text to go across the screen, which I don't do a lot of anyways, but yeah. Once you do know, I agree though, once you do know it and create a bunch of templates for yourself, then it could get much faster. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm actually using iMovie on my iPad and works fine. My Mac Air died. Uh-oh, that's not good. But yeah, that I forgot to mention iMovie being another good choice for a free video editor. And if you really like iMovie and you want to upgrade to something a little more robust, then Final Cut Pro would be the next step up from iMovie, also an Apple product. Yeah, it's too bad about your Mac Air though. But no, iMovie is definitely a popular one, and I believe you could probably use that on your phone as well if you wanted to edit right on your phone, if you use your phone to record videos. So yeah, I hope that helps. I feel a sneeze coming on. Where are we here? Chicago. Welcome from Chicago. Bridget. And Philadelphia here. No BS Guide to Wealth. Welcome from Philadelphia. Here in sunny Phoenix, Robert Roulette. Welcome. Sin from North Africa. Very good. I think your message here, Tech Topics, got through a few times. It's the same message each time. So yeah, I'll look up Hindi. I'll see if that's something that it can do. Pegs, aka Irish Wilk. Peggy in Phoenix, Arizona here. How are you doing? Happy to be able to make the live stream today. 97 degrees. Oh my God. And sunny. 36 Celsius. I don't know if it's ever been that hot here in Nova Scotia. I don't think, like, literally ever. If it gets up over 30 Celsius, that's hot for here. And that may happen a handful of times of the year. I think Phoenix, didn't you guys have like 2 weeks straight over 100 degrees? Which is insane to me. Although it's a dry heat there, right? That's what I've been told, where it's much more humid here. We are hoping for autumn to come soon. Well, actually, in the video I made this afternoon, if you guys stick around, later on, when I edit that here in this live, you'll notice that the leaves are starting to drop. They've changed, so it's beautiful outside, lots of fall colors, but the leaves are starting to fall. They're usually all down on the ground here by Halloween, by the end of October, so we're on our way to winter. On gaming, anything above NVIDIA 1660 Super is good. Okay, so that's the video card Dan is talking about for video editing. I can't remember what, so I had an NVIDIA card, but what was it? I can't, 16, I want to say it was a 16, I think it might have been 1660 Ti or something like that. So that might have been what I had. So I know, and that was 5 years ago too that I had that built. So I know they've gotten better since then, and I was fine on that for video editing. Anaholic says, I said it before, but a good editing PC also has good connections like 10 gigabits per second network if you use a NAS or fast USB connections. Great point. Great point. If your hard drive, if you don't have, so the way I set my PC up, remember when I mentioned that I had 2 hard drives? I had 2 SSD drives. One was 100 terabyte, or 1 terabyte, and the other one was 2. And the 1 terabyte one is where I loaded all of my system files. So like Windows ran on that, and the main programs. The 2 terabyte drive in there is where I put my files. So my video editing files that I wanted to edit, right? So all the video files, the audio files and everything, any other B-roll that I downloaded, music and all that went on the 2 terabyte drive. Also internal, so you know, if the drives are internal, generally your video editing software can read and write the files to and from those drives much faster than if it was an external drive plugged in via a USB port. Okay? If you're going to have an external drive, if your internal drive's not big enough and you're editing off of an external drive, or like Anaholic says, through like off of a NAS, which is basically an external drive that's connected to your network, then it will be slower unless you have a 10 gigabit per second network. You're getting into some pricey options there though. For that, I do have a NAS, but it's not connected with 10 gigabit. And even if it was, my NAS doesn't have SSD drives. It's got HDD drives. I use it for backups, basically. But anyways, that probably got a little bit complicated for, but yeah, if you, SSD drives, USB connections, a fast USB connection is super important if you're going to be editing off of a drive that you're going to plug into your computer if it's external, okay? If it's internal, then you don't have to rely on the USB connection. So hopefully that helps. Just going right down through it here. ABC says, can you show us the flow from filming on phone, uploading, and editing? What to if your desktop doesn't have a lot of storage? Where do you keep all your videos once uploaded to your channel? Thanks. Yeah, so I can mention a couple things now about that, but then when I get into the editing, I'll show you exactly. So I will say that all I've done, so I went outside with my phone, just like this, with my phone, this tripod, and this mic. So I had this mic here with the, I had this little wind muff here attached to it, the dead cat, like this. I had that attached up high on my collar. And then this part here is the receiver part. That plugs into the phone right here, like that. Close this. So this is what I went outside with. And now, is this active? Test, test. You can see the green bar going there. So yeah, so this is what I went outside with. And all I've done since I came back is I airdropped the video file so I recorded on the phone. I went into my Photos app in the phone and I airdropped it to my Mac. Okay, since I have an iPhone and an Apple Mac, I can use AirDrop. It makes it super easy. If you are on a PC, then you may have to plug your phone in via USB and then transfer the file that way. Okay, so that's all I've done. I airdropped it because I think that might have taken, I filmed it in 4K 30 frames, so that would have taken, I don't know, a few minutes anyways to transfer to my computer. So I got that, I did that already. Here, I'm going to take that apart. Don't really need that now. So the other thing I did though when I recorded it is this little mic here, it has a record button on the side. So even though, like with this plugged in here like this, okay, with it plugged in, let me close that. I have to close that so it shuts off the other mic. There's two mics that come with this. So now you can see there's just one green line here because I have one mic out. So when I'm recording my video, because I have this receiver plugged into my phone, then whatever audio that I'm speaking into this mic goes right into the phone, and the phone is using that audio instead of the audio from its internal mic, okay? But if something ever happens to this transmission, let's say the battery of this thing dies, or I don't know, for whatever reason, the transmission is interrupted, as a safety, you can press the record button on this, and then your audio is being recorded on board on this. There's a little hard drive inside this, okay? And it'll be recorded here. The exact same audio that it's trying to send to this will be recorded on this, okay? And then there's a little USB-C port in the side here. You see that? A little USB-C port. You just plug that into your computer, and your computer will recognize this as a hard drive. And on the other side there is where you'll see the record button. If I line it up properly with the lighting. Yeah, so I use that as a backup. So I did that. So I have not transferred the file off of this to the computer, but I can show you how I'm going to do that. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it right now. I'm just going to finish going through the rest of the comments. Here, I'm just going to unplug all this, put it back in the charger. What's so great about this is with this stuff in this carrying case, this is a battery pack. If I hide my face, it'll focus in on it. This is also a battery pack. Okay, you can see the lights here. So this thing itself, I can charge with this USB-C right here. And then it holds a charge, and then when I put the mic and the receiver and I put them all inside this, they're charging in this case, which is nice. The only thing I don't like about it is that this will not, I can't leave that on the mic and close this lid. There's no room for it. So I have to keep taking this off. So anyways, I hope that helps. That's the first part of what I do. So I did that today, made the video, captured the audio as well. and I've got the video file on my computer, and then I'll pick that up in a few minutes once I get into the editing, and I can show you what I do with Camtasia today. But maybe next week I'll do DaVinci Resolve. Oh, and to further answer your question, what to do if your desktop doesn't have a lot of storage? Then, one second. Then you use one of these guys. So this is that focusing? It's not focusing. There you go. That is a hard drive. Having a hard time focusing on, but it's a USB-C hard drive. It is, I think it's 1 terabyte or 2. Can't remember, 1 or 2 terabytes. And you just plug that in, USB-C, into your computer. And you can edit directly off of this. And like Anaholic said earlier, if you're going to do it this way, then you would want to make sure that the port you're plugging it into is a high-speed port. USB-C typically is high-speed port, and then you can edit directly off of this. Again, this is an SSD, which means it's not HDD. HDD would be bigger, bulkier, because there's actually a spinning disk inside of it. But an SSD is basically a computer chip that holds memory. No moving parts, so theoretically can last longer as well, and is much faster. Okay, so that's what I would do if you don't have a lot of storage. And then what do I do? So my videos, so I usually keep, I'm going to say, the last 10 or 15 projects, videos that I've made on my hard drive. So the computer I have has a 2 terabyte drive inside of it. So, and it's SSD, it's a MacBook, MacBook Pro. So I leave about 10 projects on that at one time. And then every so often I will offload those to my NAS. So NAS stands for Network Attached Storage. It's basically a box that I have in my storage room that I have a whole bunch of hard drives in that I can store like 27 terabytes of information if I want. I don't have it maxed out yet at all. But so far I've kept everything I've ever made. Right? And I'm talking about my clients' files through Fiverr going back 5 years, and any videos I've made for myself, like going back 20 years. I've got all of my data saved on that. So yeah, so what I do is when I'm finished with a project here, after about a month, I will then offload those from, like, I'll take them off of my computer and then transfer them to my NAS, and then they stay stored there. And then what you can do is you can back that up to the cloud. Maybe not the whole thing, but important files. You don't have to keep your YouTube files. Once you've uploaded your video to YouTube, it's there, it's done. I mean, you could delete your stuff. I don't, because I usually like to keep my project files in case I want to make another video that's similar and I want to use some of the same titles and things, right? I may start with an existing project, rename it to the new project name, and then start with that. You know what I mean? And there may be footage that I want to reuse as well. So I can either go back to the NAS, and when I say I offload things from my computer to my NAS, I don't have to move because my NAS is connected to my network and this computer is connected to my network. So it's just a matter of I open the drive of my NAS and I drag a file over to it, or I drag it back, right? So yeah, that's how I handle that. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. Bridget says, thank you. Requirements are SSD drive with 2 terabytes, 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, I wouldn't say, I mean, 32 gigs of RAM, I would highly suggest that. You can get away with 16. I would say you probably can't get away with 8. 32 is nice. 32 is what I have. If I were to buy this, if I were to buy another computer sometime in the next couple of years, I might even go 64. Just as, you know, like file sizes get larger, and who knows, maybe we get into 8K video editing soon. I don't know. I haven't done that yet, but But yeah, SSD drive for sure. I would go SSD 100%, not HDD. And 2 terabytes, you may not need that. If you're going to have a storage system that's not in your computer, you can probably get away with 1 terabyte, but I have 2 in mine. And I usually have, so like right now, I have 800 gigabytes free in my computer. And I have, well, I can show you. Let me show you. We'll go here. Let me just bring this, I'll bring a Finder window down to show you. So trailer, this is the project, this is the live stream, today's live stream, my files. So my projects, there, I've got, how many do I have here? So 28 items, 28 different projects going back. So a couple in October. You can see kind of how I organize, here, let me just move this out of the way. How I organize my files. I go by date. I put the date in first, and then the name of the project is typically what I do. And all of that is in a folder called My Projects Current. Okay, and then so faceless YouTube channels. That's a video I released last Friday. If you go inside that, I'll double click there, and you can see the way I've got things laid out here. So CMPROJ, so that stands for Camtasia for Mac project. That's my Camtasia project file. Why is that there? That should not have saved there. that belongs here. That doesn't belong there. So here's how I move files around. Let me bring another window here. So sometimes when I do things too quick, I save things in the wrong place, but I always fix it. So My Projects Current, live stream 48. Let's go in there. That is where this should have gone. So let me move it there. There we go. So now if we back out of here, now that's in here, live stream 48. There's my project. And in fact, if I go back here, that was the trailer. So let me drag it right into the trailer here. So if I double click there, there we go. There's the trailer project. There's the rendered video. There's my voiceover. There's the video from my camera, and so on. Okay. So now if I back out of here, let's go back to my projects. Here, I can get rid of this one now. I always like to have 2 Finder windows. And when I say Finder windows, if you're using a PC, for you, it's called File Manager windows. I like to have 2 open so you can drag files from one to the other instead of having to like copy to a clipboard and then go over. And I just find it visually easier to drag from one window to another. But yeah, so faceless YouTube channels, that's from October 3rd. So that was a few days ago. That was Friday. Let's go in here. So I had a blooper video. There's the rendered video. There's my Camtasia project. Here's the music I use. You can double click in there. You can see the music file. The recordings, I'll double click in there. There's my voice recordings and then the camera recording. And then the thumbnail. So I usually go through a lot of like taking screenshots from my from the finished video, and then I decide which one I want to use to make the thumbnail. And then the final thumbnail, see, I had a bunch of different versions here. So this was the first version that, whoops. Here's the thinking process. Just do this. So that was one version that I didn't end up going with. Here, if I close that, then will it open in the same place? No. Okay. Oh well. So that was that version. And then version 2. Well, the only difference is I went with a bigger font. I ended up not using that one either. Okay, so you can see the kind of the process I went through. Version 3, that's closer to what I was going to use. You can't see it yet. This one, okay, but notice how small Peanut is here and out of focus. So what I ended up doing is I combined this with this, and I ended up with, I'm going to just go to version 6 because that's the final version. I ended up doing this. Okay, so see what I did here? This isn't real. I actually removed the background from me, okay, and then took that and put it on top of basically this image, okay? So anyway, I can show you how I did that in Canva. If anybody is interested, let me know. But that's what I did. So yeah, that was, anyways, why am I showing you all this? I was just kind of getting into how I set up my projects. So if I back out of here, you can see that, so that was last week's video. This is another project I'm working on, Peanut's Perspective. That's going to be a channel for just Peanut talking. Nothing's ready yet there. I can't show you anything yet, but I'm working on that. And then all my other projects. So the last week's live stream. So we go back here, see the dates, middle of September down here. There's a couple X'd out that I actually never ended up making videos out of, but I did some recordings. So this looks to be around a month's worth of videos, 28 projects in here. And I have, it shows right down here at the bottom, 757 gigs available. So if I were to get rid of, say, this many of them and move them over to the NAS, this might jump up to, well, probably 850 or 900 or more gigabytes free. That's kind of where I tend to be. Okay, so anyways, I hope that was helpful. Let's come back here and move along with the quote. How are we doing? We're 10 to 3 or quarter to 3. So we'll just keep going here for a little bit. Ruben from Argentina. Welcome, Ruben. Thanks for stopping in. Cassie K, can you please explain? Hello, Cassie. How you doing? Can you please explain how you changed the quality of how your camera presents you? Did you change your lighting from your first videos or color grade? You show up brighter in new videos. So let me ask you, when you say new videos, are you talking like ever since I made that over 40 video in early July? So I'm going to say my last 50 or so videos. They definitely look better. 1 second. I did do a lot of trial and error over the years. So if you go back and look at my first videos, they don't look as good now. At the time, I thought they were fantastic. But as with anything, you just get better at something the more you do it. So lighting is a big thing. You want to make sure you have lights, so if I'm looking right at the camera, you want to come out 45 degrees that way, 45 degrees that way, and then 45 degrees up. That's ideally where you have your two lights. You don't even necessarily need two, but one for sure, and it should be brighter than the other one. So what I have is I've got a fairly bright one here and one not as bright over here, a smaller one. And then backlighting helps. I think a lot of my earlier videos, I used to use like floodlights for color, and they weren't great lights, but I was trying to get like a blue. Some of them were green in the background. It's just a product of what I had been watching at the time. Videos that I saw that I thought looked cool, and I was trying to replicate. I watched a lot of Nick Nimon's videos early on. He's great, and I liked his style. I liked his videos. I've kind of moved away from that a little bit now. The other thing is the camera. My camera, the camera that I use now is better than what I used way back then. Trying to think now. I know a little bit more about like ISO settings and how to set that for the camera, but a lot of the camera settings like ISO and shutter speed, f-stop and all these things, most of that goes away if you just use your phone, because the phones these days just make things so much simpler. But anyways, kind of back to your question, I do use a ZV-E10 by Sony as my camera with the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. That gives a great picture. And then I spent some time on my setup. So I make sure that I'm kind of off to the side. Let me just bring this up. I'm going to open a project here just to kind of help explain what I'm talking about. Actually, let me close. I'm going to switch back here. let me close some of these windows. Let me get this out of here, and then let me bring this down. So here is my Camtasia project. Let's zoom out here. Okay, so let's, what am I doing? Where am I? Let's make this smaller here so we can see everything. Let's unhide those. Okay, so here is the video that I came out with on Friday. And that's the one I was talking about where the cat's in the background, and I'm talking about faceless YouTube channels, something that if you've watched any of my videos so far, you know that I like to encourage you to put your face in your videos. I think it really helps grow a channel if people can connect to you. That said, I know that that is a big roadblock for a lot of people. They really don't want, doesn't matter what I say, they don't want to put their face in their videos. So I made a video about faceless YouTube channels and basically saying that it's okay. And here, if you're going to go that route, then here are some strategies to follow. That's what that video was about. Now, why did I go there? Oh, just to show this, the set. So if you look at this image, let me just kind of fill the screen with that. If you look at this image, got my mouth open there, let's go there. You can see I'm right in the middle. So I consciously did that, and I know exactly where to sit so that I'm right in the middle. I've got my camera height set so you can see all of my head and just a little bit of space above it. Basically, my chin is right in the middle of the shot. You don't want your eyes in the middle, then there'd be too much room above your head. Yeah, I wanted something on either side of me as well in the background. And since the camera is so close to me, and since I use that f1.4 lens, that is what will give a blurry background if you can get close to the lens yourself. So I'm pretty close to the lens. I'm gonna say 3 feet away from the lens from where I'm sitting. And then the background is probably another 3 feet back to this wall here, and even further back into the corner. And that's why everything behind me is blurry. Okay, I like that look. And there's enough going on in the background that people might be looking at those things. So they're looking, here's a sign that says life is good. Interesting. There's a cat. Ooh, I love cats. Some people, right? Oh, I want to watch that cat. What's the cat doing? Oh, very interesting light. I got a little piece of artwork here that wasn't there when I set this up. I put it there. It's actually looks like it's kind of low for the wall, but it makes sense with this set. And then this is a chart of the south coast of Nova Scotia that I have up there, and then a little piece of art, a seagull standing on a stick. So anyways, all of that together, I thought the colors looked good. So I was very intentional setting that up. I wanted you guys to be able to see this light and Peanut behind me. That's why I have the camera at an angle and it's not looking straight on at the chair. If it was looking straight on, then that light and Peanut would be hidden behind me. So that's why I've skewed it a little bit. So yeah, my point is a lot more thought now goes into all of that. When I'm and that's something that's working. Like I like the look of that, and I'm going to run with that for a little bit. There are other sets too that I may make in the future. You know, I've done some walk and talk videos, so that's kind of intentional in a different sort of way. I'm walking, so obviously the set kind of changes, but I'm cognizant of the colors, what I'm wearing versus what's in the background. I want there to be a lot of contrast. In this picture here, I'm wearing a blue t-shirt on a blue background, so maybe there's not a huge amount of contrast, but I also like to change it up from video to video as well. So anyways, yeah, and other than that, it's just practice. In terms, so this camera is this ZVE10 that I use right here to film that. Not with this lens though. This is just the kit lens that comes with it. To make my videos, I use this lens. And these two cameras are interchangeable. They're basically, this is a newer version of that camera. ZVE10, Sony A6400 is what that one is. And they use the same lenses. So, I hope that helped. But yeah, so you're now getting the same blurry background here because I'm actually probably I'm less than 3 feet away from this lens right now, maybe 2.5 feet or something like that. But you know, it's 8 feet or so behind me before you get to that wall. That's why it looks so much blurrier. Okay, so hopefully that helps. That mic setup looks expensive. It's not as bad as it could be, but yeah. The mic I'm using, the shotgun mic that I'm using, I want to say it's around $200 for the mic. The audio interface that it's plugged into, I don't think that's even $200. I think it's less than that. And then that just USB-C plugs into my computer. So that's the whole setup. And then you can use whatever software you want to record yourself. Camtasia, DaVinci Resolve. I use Adobe Audition. But you could spend a lot more money on mics if you want to. But there are also some good USB mics as well that don't need an audio interface like that. So that's always an option as well. TJ Jackson is in Georgia. Welcome, TJ. Georgia, hopefully you survived the hurricane last week okay, or 2 weeks ago now. Another big one about to hit Florida, unfortunately. That's Milton tomorrow, I think. Lots of bad weather. Hurricane season hopefully is over pretty soon. Hello from New Jersey. Hello, New Jersey. Can you tell us a little bit about the vertical screen on your desk? How do you like it? Do you use it for any particular purpose? Yes. So it's funny. I think in the not too distant future, I'm going to do away with it. The reason I have it here, and just so you guys can see it, I will go back to my iPhone. So yeah, that vertical. This monitor is not, what is it? It's a 27-inch 1080p monitor. Nothing special. I just have it turned vertically, and then you have to set that up in your operating system. So in my Mac OS, I tell it that monitor is vertical. The reason I have it vertical is because all I use this monitor for is my windows, my Finder windows or File Manager windows. So you can see when I was showing you them on this monitor a second ago. This is the monitor I share with you guys. If I'm going to share my screen to show you guys something, that's the monitor I show you. And that's this here. I have a button on my Stream Deck that'll show you that. Let's go back to the iPhone now. So that's that monitor. This is my main editing monitor, okay? And then this one is where I keep all my files and my folders open. And what I do is it allows me to, and I have two Finder windows open, generally, like this, one above the other. The top one is usually on downloads, in downloads, and this one is usually in my projects. And then specifically, I'll go right into my project. Let's go back to this faceless, or here, let's back out. Let's go to this live stream. And then if I've got Camtasia open up here and I want to drag some music in, I will come over here and I'll click and drag it over into my program instead of having to file open and look for the file that I want. I just drag and drop. I do that with music files, with video files, audio files, everything. So once I bring my files into the appropriate project folder, then they're all available there right for me to drag over into my editing software, whether that's Camtasia or DaVinci Resolve or Filmora or whatever you use. You can just drag it over. But this, I might be replacing this soon. And the reason, well, how do I, so what really helps with editing is a long timeline. I love me a long timeline, right? You can see the whole video much more clearly, like in one go. So what I've been looking at is one of those extra wide monitors that I would use a portion of it for my editing, and then over on the side, I would have these windows. So that would replace both of these if I do that. Okay, then I would have 3 monitors. I'd have that as my main monitor, and then I'd have this one for sharing my screen with you for live streaming. and then just the monitor that's part of the Mac. And then what I have on this one, because I live stream, I have my Ecamm Live running on this one. Yeah, so that's what I do. If you don't live stream, then you don't need all these monitors, really. Well, I like having two monitors, one where you're editing and then one where you can, drag your files to and from. Two monitors, that's great. And then when I travel, what I do is I take my MacBook, and then this little monitor here, this one here, is basically, it's also a cheap 1080p monitor that just plugs into your Mac. And you can set up a dual display with your Mac, right? Like in a hotel room or whatever. So I love that for that. And it's also great for live streaming. It's not a high quality monitor. It's not 4K or anything like that. But it's perfect for sharing my screen in a live stream. So yeah, so most of the reason for all of the monitors that I have is because I live stream. Okay, so it's not necessary for editing. Two monitors, I think, is, yeah, for editing, definitely. But you don't need all this. Hello, South Africa. Hello. Shotcut is very popular in Linux distributions. Okay, I did not know that. I did not know that. Good to know. Is there any John Peters? Hello, John. Any reason not to use iMovie? No reason at all. You can go for. It just slipped my mind. And the thing with iMovie, if I had been a Mac user for years and years and years, I probably would be using iMovie or Final Cut Pro. It's just that I'm a relatively newcomer to Macs, and I was already a Camtasia user, so I haven't even, honestly, I've never even tried iMovie, even though it's free with MacBooks. So there you go. Yeah, no reason at all. You can absolutely use iMovie. And we have Tech for Senior. Thank you very much. Love it. Super chat. Really appreciate that. And what'd you say? $1.50 per question? I don't know what that's. Did you type that, or is that just did that just show up? Oh, I see. You've got some questions here. Let me answer your questions. Why don't you just use the Camtasia recorder with a cam link? No transferring files. Good question. I've tried that. I do have a cam link here somewhere, a 4K cam link. But for me, live streaming is big. I want to live stream every week. I love doing it. I would even do it more than once a week if I knew people wanted me to do it more than once a week, because I love doing it. So a lot of my setup is because I like to live stream. And live streaming is so much easier with multiple monitors. I would say 3 minimum. So one for your live streaming software, one for the screen you want to share, and then one, the main monitor. I suppose you could do it with 2 monitors. You absolutely could do it with 2 monitors, but I like 3. And then this fourth one, like I had said earlier, is mostly for when I video edit. But why don't I just use the Camtasia recorder? I have had issues in the past getting things to sync properly between audio and video when using the Camtasia recorder. So I've just gotten so used to the way I do it, I don't use it now. I shouldn't say that. When I'm making tutorial videos, which are typically for clients through Fiverr, something like that, then I will use the Camtasia recorder. But for those, I'm not recording my face. I don't ever put my face in videos that I'm making for clients. My face is for me. It's for my videos. I'll use my voice and I'll do voiceover, but typically the way I make a video like that, I'll record my voiceover first, so the script will be set. I'll record the voiceover. I'll bring this mic much closer to my mouth and I'll put this little pop filter on it. Do the voiceover, edit all the mistakes out, then I put that into Camtasia, then I build the video on top of the voiceover. That's the way I make a tutorial video. So when I'm doing that, then yes, I'm using the Camtasia recorder to record the screen that I then put in those videos. It's just the way I've come to learn to do it. With any of this video editing stuff, there's more than one way to do things. And there's really no one right way, typically. Usually there's more than one right way to do things. And so then the right way just becomes whatever way works best for you. Whatever way, another way to think of it, these are all tools that we use to make videos. Now, how can you best use these tools in a way that makes the most sense for you so that you can make the best videos you can make the quickest, generally? So the way I do things may not be the perfect way, but it's the way that allows me to make them as fast as I do. And again, I did run into some issues. Now, this is probably rooted in like back when my computer was not as good. It wasn't as powerful as what I've been using lately. And maybe that was more of the reason why there was some lag between the audio and the video and things like that. But yeah, that's why. And also with the Camlink 4K, I did within the last year try to set that up for recording directly into Camtasia. But the problem becomes when I want to live stream and hooking these cameras up. There's only so many ports in the MacBook, and I'm using most of those ports for all these monitors, right? So there's no, I mean, I could probably plug one camera into the MacBook. I'd probably have to unplug one of the monitors. And I do have a dock as well that I'm using that some of these things are plugged into. Yeah, if you want multiple cameras, then I'm using the A10 Mini to plug those into. That only does 1080p. It won't do 4K. So that's why the videos that I make for YouTube that I want to be 4K, I don't record into the software because it would all be throttled back to 1080p. Does that make sense? So I record directly to my SD cards, either on that camera or this camera, depending on where I'm sitting when I'm making the video. And then I'll pop that into the computer and do it the old-fashioned way. Just copy and then, to me, syncing video with audio is not, and it's just I've done it so many times. It's not a hard thing to do. Once you get used to doing it, it doesn't take me any time at all. So, anyways, I hope that helped. That quite. You've got a couple other questions here. I am making, oh, here we go, 4K. I'm making more 4K videos in Camtasia. I find that if they are over 15 minutes, Camtasia really struggles. I have a very fast Windows system. What is your experience? Same. My experience was the same. I would have trouble with longer videos and with 4K videos. So that's part of the reason why I don't record directly into Camtasia. I record to my SD card and then I work with it in Camtasia. Something else you can do that really helps, if your version of Camtasia isn't doing this automatically for you, then create a proxy video. Okay, I think Camtasia does it automatically now in the latest version, but if for whatever reason it's not for you, in your media bin, you right-click it and create proxy video, and that will make it much easier to work with. So if you look at this file here, here's the video file, and here it is in the timeline. This yellow dot, or orange, whatever it looks like to you, means that a proxy video has been created. So if I right-click up here in the media bin, not the timeline, but the media bin, right-click it, you come down here, proxy video. I could delete the proxy video. A proxy video is just a scaled back, lower quality version of your video, okay? If you use that lower quality proxy video while you're editing your video, it's much easier to work with, okay? And then when you're done and you go to export your video or render it, you don't have to do anything with the proxy video. The program knows to use the original to create your rendered video, okay? So there's no reason not to use proxy video unless you want to see the quality of the video while you're editing it, because that does take some of the quality away. What you see here is the proxy version, okay? So try that. If yours isn't doing that, that might help. But yeah, that is my experience. Suggest you try Audiate. It is actually getting usable. Very good. Yeah, I would like to. I've got it. I just haven't had the chance to spend too much time with it. So for those who don't know, Audiate is part of Camtasia. It's actually a different software, but it's Camtasia and Audiate are both made by TechSmith, is the parent company. And Audiate is what you use to edit the audio. And you can actually use it to, you can edit by editing the text. If you like delete text out of the transcript that Audiate will create, it'll delete that part of the video for you automatically. So text-based editing is called. It'll do that, and you can edit the audio. You can change the way it sounds. You can make it sound better as well. Again, I've become so used to Adobe Audition. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. It's hard to change my ways. I'll put it that way. But yeah, there you go. I will give it a shot at some point. And thanks again for the super chat. Much appreciated. Just going to scroll back up here and see where I was before we move on to the editing. Cassie K says, is there an easy way to test thumbnails? What's the best way to do this? So YouTube does have something where you can A/B test your thumbnails. You can upload two versions of your, like two different thumbnails when you upload a video. And what it'll do is it'll automatically test them. I think it'll use thumbnail A 50% of the time and thumbnail B 50% of the time. And after a certain amount of time, it'll look at the stats for both and decide which one's better and go with that one. So that's an automated way to check that. And that's really the only way I know of to do that. I've done that once, I think. And I don't know. I liked, what I do is I will put a thumbnail up, and this is not necessarily the best way to do it, but if I see something not working very well, thumbnail and title together, I'll change them. I'll make a change to the thumbnail or to the title and see if that helps, right? So that's something you could do as well. Yeah, that's the easiest way to test them, is to use an A/B test that YouTube allows you to do right from within YouTube Studio. The Weezer, hello, how you doing? I have no idea what that is. That looks like another language to me. I don't know what that is. Sorry. Let's do this, says Dan. The Weezer, hopefully my Hindi Oh, here we go. Hopefully my Hindi translator from English to Hindi works. The phrase should be, hello, welcome to the United States. It may very well have said that. I have no idea. I can't translate it back. Namaste, sir. This is Session from India. Can you please explain to us about most important video recording tips for talking head video? Yeah, so most important tips for talking head. Eye contact with the camera is important. Be authentic, so be real. If you're going to use a teleprompter, then you want to practice using it first, because if people can tell that you're reading a script from a teleprompter, they may be turned off by that. People more and more are liking the more authentic videos these days. And if you can connect with your audience, or better put, if your audience can connect with you, if they feel like they're connecting with you, that increases the chances that they'll stick around for longer. Another tip, I mean, I have made some videos with talking head tips. I think I made one very recently. Let me just double check to see. Yeah, there's, okay, walk and talk. Anyways, yeah, no, I don't mean to dismiss your question, but I'm just trying to, I don't want to forget anything. Most important video tips. So talking head video could be you holding your phone or camera, whatever, in a tripod and just talking to it like this, right? Out for a walk. Okay, I call those walk and talk videos, but it's also technically a talking head video. When I'm sitting in my chair over there, that's a talking head video because I'm looking right at the camera. So if you're sitting down in a controlled environment like that, one tip I have is to have bullet points taped to your tripod. And that's instead of using a teleprompter. That's what I would recommend. And that's because that'll force you to actually talk to the camera like the camera's your friend. And that's going to take some practice too. What you'd want to do is basically read a bullet point that you want to talk about and then talk about it by looking at the camera. And don't be reading it off your paper on the tripod. So yeah, it takes practice. It takes practice to get good at that. If you're using a camera that has a flip up or a flip out screen, or if you're using a phone that has a selfie screen so that you can see yourself, you really have to resist the temptation to look at yourself in the video monitor and figure out exactly where the lens is on your camera and look at that. Okay, so it's very easy in this camera here because, so if I show you what I'm looking at, that's the camera I'm looking at. Yes, it's got a flip up screen up here, but I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at that, the circle right in the middle of my camera. Okay, and then at the same, let's switch cameras here. Now let's look at this one. When I'm using my phone, the rear facing camera, I talk to it like this. First of all, I'll always do a test to make sure, like I'll take a video, I'll say a few things, then I'll stop the video and I'll turn around and I'll look at it and make sure I was in frame. So I'll do a test like that. But I'm looking at one of these three lenses. Ideally, you'd want to figure out which one of those three is the lens you're using, right? So my iPhone has three lenses. So I think there's a 1x, a 0.5x, and a 3x or something like that. Different zooms. So yeah, you'd want to know which one you're using and look at that and just get used to look at that. If I'm looking at, the selfie camera like this, then, where's the lens? Well, on this phone, it's actually way up there, okay? But that's hard to see. It's really hard to see, and I forget that. So, that's part of the reason why I don't like to use the selfie camera, because doing so, I'll quite often start looking at myself instead of where I should be looking, which is where the lens is. So that's another tip. So yeah, hopefully that helps. I'm going to have to probably go through the next few a little bit quicker, because in the next 5-10 minutes or so, I want to get into editing that video, which I think is what most people are here to see, and it's what I told people I'd be doing. But as always, it usually takes me a long time to go through all the chat messages. I'm too talkative. But I hope that helps. Sachin. Greetings from Virginia Beach. Ricciona, Puerto Rico. Greetings. Is the CapCut web version, so this is Espanol con Juan, is the CapCut web version easy to use? I love using it on my iPhone, but I'm not sure if it's worth it to learn how to use it on the web version. That's a good question. I've only used it on a MacBook. I've never used it on my phone. So I can't compare. I don't know which is easier. All I can say is that CapCut on the computer is not a whole lot different than Camtasia or DaVinci Resolve on the computer. They're all relatively similar. But I can imagine there's going to be some differences to what you're used to on your phone. So I'd just give it a try. Give it a try and let me know what you think. I personally like editing on a computer, though, as opposed to a phone, mostly because to me, the phone screen is too small. I would like to really see more of the screen. I like it bigger. Like, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be, so I like a bigger screen. So that's the main reason why I've always done it on a computer. Is there any reason to keep the videos that we make and save to our computer to then upload? It takes up a lot of space on my iPad. Absolutely, it takes up a lot of space. No. And if you're just using an iPad, do you have another computer you can offload them to afterwards? If not, I wouldn't worry about it. What some people do is they will use these as storage devices and they'll label them. Like, if maybe at the end of this year, I'll dump all my 2024 videos onto something like this and put a little piece of tape on it and write on them 2024 YouTube videos and throw it in my desk. and then if I ever need them, I can grab this and pull files off of it. So now I've never edited on an iPad, so I'm not, but I'm sure you can probably you could probably plug one of these into an iPad. I'm pretty sure. Not 100% sure because I've never done it, but I don't know why you wouldn't be able to. So, but there is no reason that you don't. The only reason would be if you need to get at any of those files and reuse them in the future, right? But the actual video file that you upload to YouTube, no, you don't really need to keep it at all, because it's on YouTube. It's going to stay there. So yeah, that's something you can definitely get rid of if you start getting running into space issues. Can you show us again how to record a tutorial on a 4K versus 1080p and what it all means? How does it relate to setting the recording region in Camtasia? And is there a reason you do not use Audiate from Camtasia? So I've answered that one already, just because I'm used to doing things the way I do them. I've just never gotten into Audiate. It would be another piece of software I'll have to learn how to use. Yeah, I'm used to using Adobe Audition. No other reason than that. I'm sure Audiate, a lot of people love Audiate. So yeah. How to record a tutorial on 4K versus 1080p, and what it all means. So the way to think about this is, what is the final version of your video that you like? What do you want your video to be when you're finished? Do you want it to be a 4K video or a 1080p? I want all mine to be 4K. That doesn't mean that I have to record my screens in 4K. Okay. In fact, I don't. Usually when you're recording your screen, you're recording software and whatnot, and 1080p is typically fine. What it all means is you can fit 4 1080p screens within one 4K screen. A 4K screen is exactly twice as wide, twice as high. So that's 2 by 2, that's 4 1080p screens in your 4K monitor. So you first want to decide what the end result is that you want. So in my case, it's going to be 4K. And if I were to share my screen here, actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that when I edit the video. So why don't you hold on 1 second, and then I will get into that. Okay, that's probably the best way to handle this, because I just have a few more questions here. Do you have an affiliate link for the DJI-2 mic? Maybe with a discount code? No discount code, sorry. I am an Amazon affiliate, so I believe there is an affiliate link down below. Actually, if you click on any Amazon link in my description below, and once you're in Amazon, I don't know if you guys know how this works, but if you click any of my links, doesn't matter what you're looking for, it could be an Amazon link to a light that I use. If you click that and that's how you got to Amazon, then there's a cookie gets placed in your computer that basically tells Amazon that I sent you there. So now whatever you buy at Amazon for the next 24 hours, I would earn a commission on. So that's the way that works. There's a 24-hour cookie that goes with it. Unless you then went to somebody else's video and clicked on one of their links, that would replace my cookie with theirs. Okay, so what you have to do, if the DJI-2 mic link is not down there, just click any of the links and then search for DJI mic 2, and then it pops up, and that would be that. I would earn a commission for that, and for that I would thank you. Thank you very much for that. You mentioned not to use the email associated with the YouTube channel for security reasons. Can you expand on that? Yeah, so that was in my video on Friday. So basically, let me just, I got to shift gears and get my mind back over to that. So when you log into YouTube, you use an email address and a password, and then there's other things you can set up, two-factor authentication and all that. And you don't want hackers to get access to that because you could lose your channel. Typically what happens, a hacker will get access and then they'll do something they're not allowed to do and it'll get your channel banned. So whether that's spamming somebody or whatever. If you want to if the hackers already know one of those two things, email or password, then that makes it easier for them to gain access. So let's keep both of those things a secret. All right. So don't give them your password. Don't give them the email address you use. That's why it's probably a good idea to create another email address that's maybe work related or your channel related that you want people to email you using. Okay. It's just another level of security by doing it that way. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. 48 watching, 23 likes. Let's get those up for Rob. Thank you. It's 41 likes now. Awesome. Thank you. And we have 41 watching. That's because I'm slow getting over to the editing. I apologize for that. But I'm getting there. I'm struggling with noise on a wireless microphone like that I plug into my phone, and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess it depends on the microphone. Maybe there's something wrong with it. It might be faulty. But yeah, I'm not sure. I have not had that issue with this one, the DJI. But if I were to have an issue with that, I would send it back and maybe get a replacement. Let me see. Sorry, I'm late for the party. Everyday Carry. How do you connect the multiple monitors? I have a Mac M1, doesn't allow me more than one monitor. So I have a MacBook Pro M1 Max. I think that's it. So I have 3 connections. And what I have to do is use a dock. Okay, so my dock, it's the Anker, A-N-K-E-R, dock. I have 3 connections all taken up. One connection goes to my big monitor. Another connection goes to this little monitor here. And then the third connection goes to my dock. From the dock, this monitor is plugged into that. And then I have some other... Also, my Ethernet cable is plugged into the dock. Power. And a couple other things. Is that a camera? Yeah, so that's how I do it. Only 3 connections out. So, so if I wanted to connect an external drive like this, I'd have to plug it into the dock because mine are all taken up as well. So that's how I have it set up. Also into the dock is my A10 Mini, which is all my cameras go into that, right? So, and the audio interface. I mean, there's no way I could do this without that dock to have this many monitors and, these cameras and all that. So that's how I do it. I hope that helps. Boater Live. Hello, Rob in Houston. Hello, Houston. I've been recording talking head videos direct to OBS via Camlink connected to my old Canon M50 MK2 Mark II. Not using 4K, but quality is decent. Perfect. That works. I've heard of the M50. That's a popular camera. I think it's mirrorless, similar to the one I'm using. I'm late. I'm starting from the beginning. No problem. Greetings from Mackinac Island. I personally like how talkative you are. It adds value to your realism, to the community, and still get additional information. Thanks. No problem. The problem with being so talkative is I tend to run long with the live streams. Maybe it's not a problem, but I know there's probably a few people here waiting for me to get to the editing of that video. So I'm almost there. Do people register their unique designs used for YouTube profile picture? Do people register their unique designs used for YouTube profile? Register. Do people register them? I'm not sure what you mean by that. The designs I have for my YouTube profile picture, it's my photo that I took. I think I zoomed in on it in Canva. I made it the size that I wanted, and then I uploaded it. I didn't register it anywhere. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Sorry. My channel grew from 300 to 10,000 in 2 months. Nutso, $1,275 in the first month. Wow, very good, awesome, great job. Dementia caregiving, John's vlog. Congrats, John. Those are great numbers. Keep it going. Keep rolling. Thanks, Rob, for answering my questions. This live stream has been very helpful as always. Awesome. Do more than one live stream a week. Hey, you never know. Maybe I will. If anybody else wants me to, let me know. Like copyright, I mean. Oh, okay. I haven't copyrighted mine. I mean, if you have a logo, I suppose, and you're worried about somebody stealing it, you could copyright it, but that's not something I'm too concerned about. Certainly not about my face. Anybody could take a screenshot of any of my videos and get a picture of my face. Can we see the Anchor Hub? Do you have an affiliate link for that? Same idea. I'll show it to you. Pretty messy back there, but here we go. So here it is. If we go back here behind my drink, and I got that here, that is my hub right there. So yeah, like I mentioned, I've got, see if I can do this, hold this and point at the same time. This is just a wire that I have just laying loose here that I plug my microphone into if I need to transfer that. What is this plugged into? Nothing. That's to connect my phone. I've got Ethernet back there. That's power. That is, I think that goes to another, just a hub. This is not just a hub, it's a dock, because it has other connections too. But in the back here, what do I have? There's one, two, like one of those would be like this, and one of those would be this here, the ATEM. Okay, so that's the one that I use, the Anchor. And as far as an affiliate link for that, same thing. It would be Anchor. Actually, let me get you, I'll show you exactly the one I use. If I go to Amazon, I can pull up the one I ordered. Let me just, I'm going to find it first and then I'll share it with you. Your orders, Anchor, there it is. It is called the Anchor 10-in-1 USB-C docking system. Now, this link here is Canadian, so I don't think that, so let me just copy that. I'll go to Amazon.com and I'll search for it. And there it is. It's $149. And I will click to get the link. And I can, so Anchor dock. Did that work? No, I don't think so. Get the link. Oh, sorry. I will copy it and paste it here. There's the direct link to it. Chat doesn't allow links. I thought it allowed me to post a link because I'm the owner of this channel. So, but if that doesn't work, let me know. Well, if it doesn't work, except that one you said, okay. But this is what it looks like. This is it. But that is the Canadian site, $219 Canadian. I think it's $149 US. Okay, so that is the Anchor Hub that I use. Let me see. Maybe you and Peanut can do a live stream. We are doing a live stream. That's her right over there. See? She's involved. Yeah. We have fun. Okay. Let me get into, let's go take a look at this video now. I'm going to share my screen. That's the wrong button. That's the button. Let me get this out of here because we don't want that one. I'm going to go File, New Project. So you can see me right from the beginning here. Let's bring a new project down here. Second here. Now, I've already transferred the video So if I go to, let me go back to my projects. I'll show you this. So here is my projects folder again. This is my Finder window or File Manager if you're a Windows user. I will create a new folder. So let's right click, new folder. Let's call this 2024, 10 for October. And what's the date today? 8th. So I already have an October 8th. That doesn't matter. I have another one because this part's going to be different. And what was I talking about in this? Oh, here, I'll show you this. You know how I say I like bullet points? So something I've decided to do for my walk and talks, I think this makes a little bit more sense, is a cue card. So I'm going to use a cue card like this that I can just kind of throw in my pocket if I need to refer to something. So I just typed that, or not typed, I wrote that up before I left for my walk so I knew what I was going to talk about. So what does this say? Why YouTube is easy today if you're over 40. I don't know what the title is going to be, some ideas that I've got. Why YouTube is easy today, especially if you're over 40. I even used ChatGPT. Where are you, ChatGPT? To give me some suggestions. So just so you know what I do here, there's ChatGPT. So for example, I said this video did really well for me. Why people over 40 must start a YouTube channel. Can you suggest another title along the same lines? And it gives me other choices. But before I did that, I typed in why YouTube is easier than ever, especially if you're over 40. Please provide 5 alternatives. And it gives me these as choices. Okay, so that's why I love ChatGPT for this reason alone. And what I'll probably end up doing is picking either one of those or usually a combination of 2 or more of those. So that's what the video is about. And the only reason I'm trying to figure this out is what to title my folder. So easy, why YouTube is easy. So I'll move that out of the way. So let's come back here to the folder I created and didn't finish typing it out. So why YouTube is easy. Okay, there's my folder. Now let's double click in there again. I'm going to right click, click on new folder, and I'm going to type recordings. This is where I put all my video and audio files that I record. I put them in recordings. I'm going to create another one called thumbnail. Now, probably not going to get to that today, but let's just have it. That's what I always do. So let's double click recordings. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag. Remember when I said I airdropped my video file from my phone to my MacBook? Okay, so that's in my downloads folder. You can't see that, so I'm just going to drag it over here and let it go. That is the video file. Now, because I used this mic, it was here and then the transmitter was plugged into the phone. Because I used that part that was plugged into the phone, the audio in this video file should be fine. If it's not, then what you do is you take that mic out, right? Remember I said it had a hard drive in it? I will take this wire over here. You can't see this, but I'm plugging it into my computer, into the dock actually. I plug that mic in like that. Okay, I just plugged my mic in like this. So now you can see, no you can't because I have to press this button. You can see here it says no name right there. That's what that is. And it says DJI audio. So if I double click there, today at 12:24 it recorded that. That is probably the one that I want. 11:47 I did one, but that was my first take. So you don't ever have to delete. So this holds 8 gigabytes of storage, which is great. And what it'll do is it'll just delete off the oldest ones to make room for the newer ones. Okay, and so far I haven't even used half of it. But what I'll do is I'll take this file. I'm going to copy that and go back to my projects. Why YouTube is easy, recordings, and Control V, paste. There it is. That's what I usually try to avoid by having 2. Is that working? There it goes. There, you can see it's downloading now, or it's uploading to my computer, downloading to my computer from the mic. Okay, so again, I probably don't need to use that, but I'm just showing you how I would normally do that. Okay, so there we go. I've got these two files. I'm going to move this out of the way, back over to my other monitor. I have to make this window smaller because that's a smaller monitor. And now I'm going to drag them. So with this Camtasia file open, this is a brand new project. I go to my media bin. First thing I want to do is, well, actually, let's give it a name first. File, save as, and what did I call this? Why YouTube is easy, right? So why YouTube is easy. And I want to save it in my projects, and why YouTube is easy. And I usually just save it to the root directory here. So I will save that. That saves a Camtasia project file for me. And just so you can see it, if I bring this back here, that's where it got saved, right there, okay? I'll take this back. Now I want to go and set up my canvas. So this is where I get into, I think it was Cassie, I think you asked this question about 4K, 1080p and all that. I know I filmed that in 4K. So that I'd have to set that up in my phone first. I filmed it at 4K, 30 frames per second, and I want my project file here to match that, okay? It doesn't have to, especially in Camtasia, but that's what I want. I want it in 4K. If I knew, I mean, I could set up a 1080p project and put a 4K video in it, but then that would convert that video into a 1080p video. Okay, so I don't want to do that. So let's go, what am I doing here? Let's go bring in my recordings. So I'm looking over at my other monitor here. You can see, no you can't, now you can, kind of. I would click and drag, here, let's move this closer so you can see what I'm doing, and let's do that. Does that work? So I will come over here and I'll click, so here's the video file here, I'll click this and drag it over here. Actually, I'll just drag it down to the timeline. So you can see I dragged it down to the timeline here. Okay, and I'm also going to click and drag that audio file down to the timeline as well. And I'll let it go. So it's down here as well. So now I'll go back and show you my screen. Does that work when I do it this way? Now I need to, actually, why don't I, because my face is on the screen, I'm going to bring this in a little bit. There, so we can see everything. Now, I'm going to use my mouse wheel to scroll out like this. Let's go up here and check my project settings. See? I brought those in before I changed this to 4K. It's only set to 1080p. Let's click this and change it to 4K. And let's click the frame rate and change it to 30. Okay, no sense in having it 60 if it's only filmed in 30. Apply. Now I have to zoom out again. See what it did? It had converted the video to 1080 and now it's on a 4K canvas. So and you can tell that by, oh, I don't have my snapping on here, the canvas snapping. There. So all I have to do to get it back to the right size is to put it up in the corner and then click one corner here and drag it. And now it's filling out the entire canvas, which is now 4K. Right there, 3840 by 2160, that's 4K. Okay, so the canvas is set up okay. Now, let's look at the audio and the video. So you can see here, there was a lot of video going on before I actually got into the audio. I can tell by looking at this audio here where the good part of my video is. It's right here. This is it. And this will probably match up with that. See that? That's how I sync things together. So I didn't have my microphone on during all of this, but I turned it on right here. Okay, so I may get some, how come that's not showing it? There we go. Oh, it was off. Okay, so anyways, so now to sync it, what I would do is I would zoom in here, and then I'll just move these and make sure the waveforms line up. And if you want to see them easier, I can zoom this up like this, make the tracks taller. I can give it some more room like this. Zoom in a little more, make sure it's perfect. Right, that looks pretty good. Now I'll just play it. I don't know if I'll be able to hear this.
Hey guys, my name is Rob. Thanks for stopping by.
Okay, yeah, no, that seemed to work. So that seems to be synced
Hey
up.
guys, my name is Rob.
Okay, so now the only reason I would do that, if there was a problem with the audio in this, for whatever reason, I can use this audio. Okay, it's the backup, right? I don't think I'm going to need it, but we'll leave it here anyways. Now I'm going to trim the ends, the beginning and the end. Let's go to the end, zoom in, and I'm going to make this the same. Just click and drag. I'm also going to just play the very end here to see where it ends. I'm going to cut it off.
So with that said, I'm Rob the Maritimer. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.
There, I might show a little bit of the trail before it ends, and then I'll fade out there. So I'll bring that back there and that back there. So the end is basically done. If I want to put a fade on that, I'll go to transitions. No, I won't. Well, it would be called fade. So if I can just search for it here like this, fade. It's right there. So fade, I'll click and drag that down like that. And then it does a fade like this. Okay, if I want it to happen longer, I'll stretch this out. Let's say it fades over 2 seconds.
See you in the next one. Bye guys.
Maybe a little faster than that. Click and drag it like that. There we go, perfect. Now, let's deal with the beginning. So this was obviously a bad take. Let me zoom in. I'll play it. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to right-click this and silence that audio. Up top, I'm going to use this audio at the bottom, okay? That's the backup audio, but that's what I normally do if I record my audio separate. Let me just go. Everything's still working here. I just want to make sure everything is still working. Is the stream, are you guys good? You still with me? It looked like there was a hiccup there. Just want to make sure everyone's, if someone would give me a thumbs up, yeah, I'm still following you, that'd be great. I think it's still working. Okay, so now I'm just going to play this.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Thumbs up.
My name is Rob, and
okay, so that was a mistake. Well, I know I stopped it right here. Let's just hear that.
they're kind of favoring new.
No, that's when I gave up and decided to walk back. So now let's try to find the beginning. We are here. Good. So I did a couple of false takes too. So I was thinking that I would start here.
Hey guys.
But maybe not. I think that's too long. But if I wanted to start right here, then I'd put my playhead there. I'd highlight both of these. I'd press the S key to split, and that's going to be the new beginning. Now what I do is I would zoom out. I'm going to highlight both of these and put them at the end, just in case I want to make bloopers at the end of this. I don't know. Oh, Cassie just says we need the bloopers. All right, well, I'll put that at the end so we can always add them at the end. And that's why I set it up this way. If I then press Shift and click and drag this back, that'll bring this back to the beginning. So there, this whole section at the end I can leave for the bloopers at the end. Okay, now let me zoom in to the beginning. I just want to settle on the very beginning of this. I have a feeling I don't want it to start and include all that I'm including. So it's important to, so I made a video a couple weeks ago called, well, I forget what the title of it was, but on the thumbnail it says "Get to the Point." It's about the fact that fancy and long intros are not necessary, and in fact could be hurting your channel or your videos. So you really do need to get to the point fairly quickly in some way, shape, or form. If I think people want to see a little bit of the ocean there before they see my face and I start talking, then I can put that in. But I think it took me too long to start talking, so for that reason I think I will cut it out. But let's just play this back one more time. Way too long. So I'm just going to start it like here, I think.
Hey guys.
Yeah. I'll just start it there. I'll highlight these, S to split, and I'm just going to delete those like that. And I will again press Shift and click and drag this back. Now let's play that beginning.
Hey guys, my name is Rob. Thanks for stopping by. Nice to meet you if you're new. If you're over 40 and you're just thinking about getting into YouTube, even just a little bit, now's the time to do it.
Okay, that's a sneak peek of tomorrow's video. They're going to put this up tomorrow. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And so what I would suggest you do at this point, or what I would normally do, is I'll play through the whole thing and just make sure there's no mistakes. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to waste your time. And we're coming up on 2 hours, but that's okay. I can go over 2 hours. But I don't want to waste your time. But yeah, I would normally go all the way through that, make sure there's no other mistakes that I want to cut out. And if there were, I cut them out. That's what you do now, and we're in the editing process. But in this case, I know it was good. One take, I'm pretty sure everything was fine. So then it's a matter of a couple more things. There's a couple other things that I do to this before I upload it to YouTube. First thing is I do a little bit of color correction, okay? Now this is what I find very difficult in DaVinci Resolve, but I'm just so used to doing it here in Camtasia. I'll show you what I do. I go up to Visual Effects here, and this color adjustment tool, I will click and drag that, and I'll drop it on the video clip. Now it turns it to black and white. Let's go over to our properties, and so we have three things. We got brightness, contrast, and saturation. I'm just going to zero them all out. Put them back to 0. That is as if nothing, I didn't add it at all. And we can confirm that by toggling it off here. It doesn't make any difference to the video. Okay? Now, here, let's make this area a little bit bigger so I can see what I'm doing. So now, the changes I usually make are, I go -6 on the brightness, takes the brightness down a little bit. I go 24 on the contrast, a little more contrasty, and I go 5 on the saturation. I boost that a little bit. Okay? The changes are probably subtle, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the differences here, but, oh, check out the colors. The colors actually look pretty cool of the trees. You can see the fall colors here in Nova Scotia. But if you want to see the difference, use this toggle here on the color adjustment tool, and I can toggle it on and off to see the subtle changes that I made by adjusting the color grading. Okay, so that's something I always do. Let me just see. So the next, music. I always put a little bit of music at the end of my videos. It kind of shows that I'm about to end things up, and often that'll roll into bloopers as well. Okay, now I don't know how much I'm going to have for bloopers here. I think there was only really one take that didn't work out, but let me go find that music. let's go find the music. So the music that I use, it's from Epidemic Sound, and it's the same track that I use in all of my endings. I'm just going to go back to my last video because there, music, Epidemic Sound, control copy, and now let's go to this new. Actually, let me show you what I'm doing. So I go back to this faceless YouTube channels. That was last Friday's video, and I know I have it right here. If I double click that, there's the song. It's .wav, it's a WAV file. So I'm just going to highlight that folder, Control C to copy it, and now I'm going to go back to this video, Control V to paste it. So there it is in this project with the music and all. So I can then click and drag that music down here. And I put it on the track below. I always put the music on the track below the video and the audio. And now I have to figure out where I want it to start. And I also know that I want the music to be lower than my voice. So let's put the playhead here. Let's zoom into this area. Okay, and I'll just move it on the timeline along here. And let's try to figure out where we want that. Whoops. Try to figure out where I want the music to come in.
Yeah, just practice it and you'll get good at it. And yeah, best of luck to you. Start that YouTube channel if you haven't yet. Let me know in the comments below if you've started one.
Okay, so that's too loud. I believe it's 30%. I usually drop this to. Let's try that. It might even be more.
Let me know in the comments below if you've started one, and if not, what might be holding you back. Maybe I can help, or maybe some other people can comment and help as well. So with that said, I'm Rob the Maritimer. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.
There. As soon as it fades to black, that's where I'm going to want. Actually, no. Usually when I put bloopers at the end, I don't fade it at all. I will fade it if there's not going to be bloopers. This is where I would put the bloopers. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click this down arrow here, change this quiz to marker. So that activates markers, and all of that, that's just going to allow me to hover here and click to place a marker. And I can name that bloopers. All I'm doing is I just put a marker there that I can snap to, and that's where I want my bloopers to start. Okay, so the beginning of the video, now other things I could do to this video, but I don't see myself doing it in this case. Well, I might, and that's text. You can add text to these as well. In fact, I should do that. So, but let's go ahead and look at this, see if I can get any bloopers out of this at all. I don't know that I can.
Hey guys.
See, that's all I did. I decided not to use it. And then I walked back. I walked back to that same place. And then I tried it again.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Rob, and we live in such an amazing time.
Okay, I don't know if I ended up using it, but how did that end?
They're kind of favoring new.
No, and then I didn't like the way it was going, so I turned around and went back. I don't know that I'm going to end up making good bloopers out of this. So in this case, I don't think I'm going to add them. If that's all right. I'm sure it's okay. Here, let me zoom out to show everything again. I'm just going to delete this. Right there. Let me see now. So now I then want to decide when I want the music to end. So let's zoom in. Obviously, I don't want it to carry on that long. So let's just, I probably want it to end right where I put that marker there. So I can click and drag the end like that. I'll zoom into that section. at the end. And let's play the ending here.
Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
So if that's the case, then what I would do is I would go up to audio effects and drop a fade out on the audio of the music. Let's increase the size of this track. And I'm going to start the audio fading when the video fades right here. So I'm going to click on this and drag it back, keeping it at about 30%. And let's see how that ends now.
I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
And that's it. That would be the ending for this one. Let's make this smaller again. So now the other thing would be text. Okay, if I want to add text to anything here, here's what I would do. Since I've already done it before and I want all my text to look the same, I want my videos to have a consistent look across them all, right? What I would do is I would open up another project. So if I bring this back down here, we'll back out of here, we'll back out of there. Here's all my projects. Let's open this faceless YouTube channel. This is a good thing about the Mac version of Camtasia as opposed to the PC version. In the Mac version, you can have more than one Camtasia project open at one time. You can't do that with the PC version. I'm not sure why, but it's one of the things I love about the Mac version. So if I were using the PC version, I would probably save this as a template or a library asset that I could then bring in. But since I don't, I can just open a project. Let's just double click this. Whoops. Oh no, that's right. Double click into that folder and then double click to open that project. And here it is. Open on my other monitor and you can see all of these text titles like this. Okay. What I would do is I'd click and drag to select those, Control C to copy. Let's move this out of the way. And now I would find where I wanted to put it. Here, let's make this smaller. And Control V to paste. And that pasted the text there. Okay, so now we have this text here like this.
At that. And getting better. So one of the reasons that people who want to start a YouTube channel maybe don't, especially if they're older, is that they think it's a young person.
Okay, so that might actually be a good place to put something. I think it's a young person's game.
You know.
So then I'll double click the text. You think YouTube is only for young, whoops, can't spell, younger people. Okay.
Especially if they're older, is that they think it's a young person's game. You know, people who are in their 20s, even 30s, but certainly.
Okay, so that's a nice title there, and I'll probably leave that like that. So the reason there are two things here, this one in the back, on the bottom, is the darkening of the screen. If I can move that over here, that's just the darkening of the screen with a fade in and a fade out applied to it. You can zoom in so you can see it better. Like this.
I think it's a young person's game.
So really all that is, it's a square covering the entire screen, and I've brought the opacity down to 70%. I can change that to 100%, or 0 means you can see right through it, but I darkened it to 70%, and I just like that. That makes the text that I put on top of that pop out more. So now let's put the text there. And you can see the text is being it's fading on from left to right. That's because I have a behavior added to it. So it's just a text box, but if I click this up arrow, you can see that I have a sliding behavior. It's up here, and you find those in here. Go to behaviors. These are all kinds of different behaviors you can add to anything, text or videos, whatever. And I put this sliding one on. And then you can set the in. So when it's sliding in, I want it to fade in. Type is text left to right. I want it to fade in left to right, linear, and you can set the speed and the offset. And then during, I don't want anything to happen to it while it's on the screen. You could have it, fade in and out if you want, or wiggle around if you want. And then out, I just want it to fade out, and not left to right, just the whole thing, fade out all at once. Okay, let's just make I'll just make a little change here. The during, let's say I wanted the wiggle property applied, and there's all kinds of different ways you can change that. But look what that does. Look how that changes this.
Young person's game. People who are in their 20s, even.
I don't know if you could see it kind of wiggling. If we bump some of these up, you'll be able to see it more. Let's try that.
Game. People who are in their 20s,
see
even
that?
30s.
Anyways, I don't like the look of that as much as I do just so for during, I just usually have none. See, and that actually, I talk about this a little bit in this video. With video editing, there's a lot that you can do. You can do a lot of different things, a lot of cool things with video editing. But sometimes you shouldn't. Okay? Especially now, especially today, people, I think, so there's a couple things, and again, I actually address these in this video. But people have grown tired of the heavily edited, highly produced videos, and they just want things to be real, normal, authentic. That's the big buzzword, authenticity. So try not to overuse editing techniques and just keep things kind of simple, right? This is fairly simple. It's not it's not that hard. It's just a little, that's really the only thing I've done to this video. I cut off the beginning, I cut off the end, I added a little music to the end. I brought in the other audio, which I didn't have to do, but I wanted to demonstrate how to do that. And I added a bit of color correction. Other than that, I'm just going to go through, I'm not going to go through it all with you here. Again, I don't want to waste your time, but I've just showed you how I can add a title here. I'm going to go through this video when this live stream is over, and I'm going to add more titles throughout where it makes sense to do so. And all I have to do that is, now that I've got one looking exactly the way I want it to, instead of recreating the wheel every time, all I have to do is highlight both of those, Control C or Command C to copy, move my playhead to where the new place that I want this, and Control V, and that pastes it over here. And now I just double click the text, I change the text to whatever I want it to be, and that's that. Yeah, that's it. That's I'm going to delete this because that's not necessarily what I want to do. But that is essentially it. If this video was done, okay, once I go through all that and I put my titles in wherever I want to, I would then save the file, save the project. So Control S is save, or you could just go up to File, Save, or Save As, but I've already named it. And then you would go to Export, Local File, and make sure you're going to be exporting it to the right place. Why YouTube is easy, why YouTube is easy. Yep. Click in your options here, make sure automatic and current. That means it's going to export in 4K, which is how I set the project up, so that's all great. And then sometimes I will actually add an underscore 4K to the file name just so I know that this is the 4K version. And when ready, I will click export. And now it's exporting. Or the proper term is rendering. It is rendering. 0%, 1%. Okay, so this will take a little bit of time. Yeah, that's basically it, 2%. So how long was this video? 17 minutes. Okay, I was hoping for a little shorter than that, but hopefully you watch it all and everybody here gives it a thumbs up when you see it tomorrow. It was raining a little bit, so it's not... yeah, I'm going to listen to the audio back through just to make sure it sounded okay, because I know there was some wind, but it's hard for me to hear it now with the speakers turned down. But anyways, that's it. That's how I would then upload that video to YouTube, okay? And give it a title, description, tags, create a thumbnail, and that's something I'm going to do soon. I'm not going to do that today because we're kind of out of time. But I will show you how I make my thumbnails very soon. I think I have shown you before, but I'm going to show you again specifically how I do that. And I use Canva to do it. In fact, I'm going to make a video on how to do it in Canva, how I make my thumbnails in Canva. It's high time that I do that. And Canva just changed actually how things look in their platform, in their system. So now's a good time actually to do that video. So there you go. Let me just take another look at the chats to see if any, because I haven't been looking at the chats while I was doing that. Got some thumbs up. We need the bloopers, Cassie says. Sorry about no bloopers today, Cassie. Peanut was not in the video. I don't take her on my walk and talks, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, bloopers in the next one for sure. Confusions is contagious. Good afternoon from Corpus Christi, Texas. Good afternoon. Thanks for stopping in. Rob, you do it again. Brilliant work, and 1,000 thanks for sharing so generously of all your knowledge. We get smarter every time. I really appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad it helps. I'll hop back on tomorrow and see the rest. Thanks for now. See you next week. Absolutely. And tomorrow, by this time tomorrow, so the video, it's at 25% right now. So just so you know, I'll just quickly bounce back here. This is still rendering. It's 26% complete. This is the part that you can really speed up if you get a powerful computer. So that means a faster processor, okay? I don't know how much RAM helps with this part of it, or even the video card. I don't think that really helps at all. Those things help in the editing process, but for this, you want a fast processor, multiple cores. The more cores you have in your processor, the faster this can be. And I can tell you with this MacBook Pro M1, excuse me, it's a MacBook Pro M1 Max chip is what this is from 2021. This is about twice as fast as the Ryzen 9 PC desktop computer I had, and that was multiple times faster than the i5 HP laptop that I had before that, that I still use sometimes if I need to do Windows things. But yeah, no, this computer is plenty fast to render, and this is considered relatively fast. This is a 4K video that's being rendered, and it's a 17-minute 4K video with a little bit of color correction added. Not a whole lot of editing really, but yeah. So that's the better the processor you can get, the faster your renders will be. If you're just even if you're making one video a day, you know, this is going to take at most 10 minutes, so that's not a big deal. But if you were making like dozens of videos every day, like maybe you're into shorts and things like that, then you know the render time could be an issue. You might want to look at getting something faster. So there you go. That's the video I saw and started focusing on getting started. That's probably the over 40 video, right? I think that's where most people found me, from that video. Judging by the subscriber count and whatnot. Yeah, so very good. The view from my table. Well, I think the unique to each video intros are great. It's just the canned, same opening intros that are kind of irritating. I personally like to see the ambience of how and where your videos start. Okay, that's a valid point. So yeah, if people reuse the same intro over and over, and if it's too long, people will start fast forwarding through it. Absolutely. I tend to agree with you that, and I was starting to think, you know, if I do a different intro for every video, then maybe it's okay. But you know, my current thinking is that it's really fairly important to get right to the point. Yes, some people like to see, you know, the environment, and like to see a couple, even if it's only 5 or 10 seconds, like to see where the video is being made and things like that. But that's only some people. I think, like, if you look at your stats and your retention graph, I find that if there's any length to the video, if it takes me a long time to get to the point, that really drops off quickly. So it's it's trial and error too. Like, see what works, see what doesn't work. Always go back to your stats and see if you put an intro in, look at your stats after some time, and see if that had an effect on things. Then make a video with no intro. Maybe the intro is just like one sentence. You get right into it and just start delivering value right off the bat, and see if you can keep people for longer. It's all trial and error. Wow, this is great, and also answers my earlier question on color grading. Thank you. No problem. No problem. I have a dedicated color grading video in Camtasia on my channel from 4 months ago. If you go to my channel and search for color grading, you can see I kind of walk through a little slower exactly everything that I do, but that's pretty much it. San Diego, California here. I set up a video podcasting studio, and the number one problem I have has been audio. I am using OBS, Mic 2, and condenser mics, Mackie Mixer. I might be expecting too much from OBS. OBS should, I guess it depends on how many connections. If you're able to connect everything to your computer, then that should be fine. If your problem is audio, some suggestions that I would have would be, number one, make sure your mic is as close to your mouth as you can have it. If it's a podcast, people are kind of used to seeing people with a mic like right in their face. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I personally like having my mic out of the shot here in the live streams, and also when I'm making videos, over in the chair. And the walk and talks, when I have it here, then there's no avoiding it. But by having my mic out of the shot, that does take away from the quality of the audio. But I do some things to the audio in Adobe Audition afterwards, like in editing, to make it sound a little bit better. And I didn't do that with this video. That's something I'm going to have to do. Or did I? Did I do that? No, I didn't. I didn't edit the audio. Huh. Okay. Well, I do have another video on that. So I'm not going to redo that. I think I would lose most of you if I went back and did that. But yeah. So that's one thing. Have the mic nice and close to your mouth. And the other thing is, if you said you set up a podcasting studio, you want to make sure you have a lot of soft surfaces in your recording area, in your podcasting studio. So like furniture, blankets, carpet, curtains, closets with doors open and all kinds of clothes hanging in the closets, right? Non-flat surfaces are good for a studio. Also a lower ceiling, and if you don't have a low ceiling, you could hang a blanket or something up in your ceiling. That would help. Things like that helps with reverb. It helps make your audio sound better. So hopefully that helps. Maybe you've already done that. And if so, if your room is treated nicely, then it's down to your hardware, like your mics, the mic that you're using. Maybe you need to upgrade your mic. You mentioned, the mic, you said mic 2. So do you mean the DJI mic 2? Maybe? I'm not sure if that's what you mean. Condenser mics, Mackie Mixer. I'm not sure what that is, but something like the Rodecaster Pro or something like that. But OBS would not be what's making your audio not perfect. It wouldn't be. OBS will be able to handle whatever you put in your computer in terms of audio. Audio really is nothing compared to video, right? Audio is so. Maybe your cable connections too. Check your cable connections. That might be something to look at as well. Sybil Morgan says, I think you missed my question from earlier. I'm sorry, but I'll try to stop by again next week to ask it again. Got to get back to work. Oh my, I'm sorry if I missed. If I scroll back up and just look for that S, here it is. Greetings, it's been a while. I've been super busy at work. Just edited a recording. Oh, let me click it. Just edited a recording in front of a green screen. Would appreciate any tips and tricks that you have to share. Okay, well, green screen, I've never used a green screen. That said, there are some tricks. You want to stretch that out as much as you can to try to get rid of any folds and wrinkles. You want your green screen lit up, so that would mean if the green screen is behind you, you don't want it really tight behind you. You want some space between you and the green screen, and then have some lights on the green screen, not on you. If they're on you and then the green screen, then there's going to be a shadow of you on the green screen. You want to try to avoid that by putting the lights just on the green screen behind you. And then the lights that are on you, you want it to kind of shine onto you and then miss the green screen on the other side so there's no shadow. Okay, so that'll give you the best results when you go and remove the green screen in your editing software. But aside from that, I don't know if I can give you a whole lot more in terms of tips. Camtasia has a tool called Background Remover that removes you from the background without the use of a green screen. And more editing programs are putting that in place. It's kind of an AI thing, I guess. But no, I've never used a green screen. But hopefully those tips help a little bit, and good luck with it. That's it for the chat. Hack Multimedia loves my head. Awesome. I'm glad you do. I do too. It's the only one I got, so I've got no choice. How was that? I hope you learned something today, guys. I hope you liked this live stream. So I do have some things I'm going to have to clean up on this video that I just finished exporting. If I go back here, you can see export finished. So close. Now I am going to go back. I'm going to modify the audio a little bit, but I'll do that after the fact. I've got till tomorrow morning before this is going to go live, anyways. So, but yeah, that's how I do my videos. So outside with the phone, tripod, mic, make a video, come back to my office, put everything in the computer, edit it all together, export it, upload it to YouTube. Done. Video done. That's what I do. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything I talked about today, now's your last chance to put them here in the chat. Otherwise, after the stream is over, you can put any questions you have in the comments section below, and I'll answer them then. I answer all questions in the comments section of all of my videos. It's part of what I do every day. And I love that. That's gets to interact with you guys, so that's great. Yeah. So other than that, the last thing is look for my video tomorrow. The video that we edited today. So that'll answer the question too. How long does it take me to film and edit a video? Well, all I did this morning, after I made the trailer, which was about 3 hours before the live stream, I wrote down some title ideas. I then wrote out this cue card with some bullet points that I took with me. And when I got walking, I would just kind of look at it and remind myself, okay. And I actually ended up walking a little bit back and forth before I decided exactly how I wanted to open the video, what my first sentence was going to be. Did that, filmed the video, came back here, edited it. So all done in one day. And I showed you how I did it all. So yeah, if I had nothing else to do, I could do this every day and have a video every single day. And I did that a couple weeks ago. But anyways, I'm rambling now. Thanks everybody for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. Look for tomorrow's video, and there may be another one towards the end of the week as well. And then, of course, next Tuesday, I'll be back here again, as I am every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock here in Halifax. And I'll live stream again for at least 2 hours next week. Probably indoors again next week. Be a couple more weeks before I go outside again. We'll try that again. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye, guys.